Reddit-loving day traders are making their chaotic presence felt again, and the risky behavior is fueling a stock market rally that doesn't look sustainable. Bullish sentiment has returned in a big way among retail investors as they've started their year piling record amounts into stocks. Like the meme stock boom of 2021, investors are picking risky, speculative assets despite those being the biggest losers during the last year's rising rate environment. Strategists warn that the enthusiasm may be ill-convinced given the Fed has insisted more rate hikes are on the way. The strategists that they are speaking of are JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and other large banks. They also go on throughout this article to say that institutions and retail are actually on the same side in 2023, piling into the same exact stocks. They also say that retail investors are posing a risk potentially even to the Federal Reserve. Plus, more than 3,000 hedge funds have shut over the last 5 years, exceeding the number of launches during that period, which means if you were going to look at hedge funds at a macro scale, most of them are failing, if not failed already and went bankrupt. Plus, you have another billionaire on Wall Street die of quote-unquote suicide, right? You saw the Bed Bath & Beyond CEO jump. You saw recently when we put up a video of another CEO jump, and finally you see billionaire financier Thomas H. Lee found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in New York City office. So this guy's sitting in his office and he just blows himself apart. I mean, come on, I don't buy it. Moving on, I don't even know if this is legal. Yahoo News put out an article and the topic is what's driving trash stocks such as AMC higher this year. Should we report Yahoo News? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Now read this carefully. Just in 4 states, Utah, West Virginia, Texas, and Louisiana have sued the SEC about the new rule that requires certain investment funds to reveal more about how they vote on shareholder ballots, including on-pay packages for top executives. A new SEC ruling requiring certain investment funds to reveal more about how they vote on shareholder ballots. Does that sound a little bit familiar to the lawsuit? And apparently a lot of major US brokerage services that service retail are running mass marketing campaigns encouraging their customers to open margin accounts. This is a way they can sell your shares at the first moment of distress in your account, so be very, very careful. Speaking of that, according to Ortex, AMC is sitting at 23.45% short interest, so finally creeping up to about 24 almost. Utilization is still maxed out. The cost to borrow dropped about cut in half from yesterday, according to Ortex, from 755% down to 361%, and the max is at 380, so shorts are still paying a very high amount, and according to Ape, there's 6.28% short interest with a cost to borrow average sitting at 12.5%. I recently got a comment to cover Ape's chart as well, and we will be doing that at the end of this video, but Snonko Tracker is reporting a higher fee than Ortex, 550,000 shares available to borrow at a most recent fee of 395%, and this morning 700,000 shares were borrowed at 506%. We are losing finally on the options chain for this week. We kind of thought that was going to happen. Market makers wanted to push us under that max paying $6 level. 29,000 calls compared to 35,000 puts expiring in the money. More people are betting bearish coming into next week, and we're going to touch on that in a minute. The short exempts are still pretty high on GameStop. Touching on being bearish next week, Adam Aaron tweets, "This is so exciting. The short teaser video shows the beginning of literally millions of microwave pouches being made of AMC perfectly popcorn for stores near you. News to come soon how you can get real AMC movie theater quality ready to eat and microwavable popcorn." This is a great thing to see fundamentally for the company, and I personally wouldn't go bearish over next week because we have the earnings next week, which could definitely possibly be AMC going cash flow positive. And he says news to come soon. This news I assume is going to be released in the upcoming earnings meeting, which is on February 28th. According to Snonko Tracker for GameStop, 500,000 shares available to borrow, and the fee dropped again at 11.9. It's really not looking good for GameStop. We're losing on the options chain. The short exempts is staying up there. They are just crushing GameStop to say the least, but we will be touching on the chart. Before we touch on the chart, the US employment rate is at 3.4%, its lowest level since 1969, and Fed's Bullard says markets have factored in the possibility of a changed fiscal stance as well as a more aggressive Fed, and that is potentially why you see it dumping today. On top of that, a lot of institutions are betting huge money on puts for XLE and QQQ, but they are betting calls on Microsoft in large amounts. Now, Graham Stephan tweeted that the housing market has crashed a little bit, but it does expect to come down another 15% going forward, and that the correction it's already in has already lost homeowners over $2.3 trillion. Finally, touching on war, Zelensky urges Russia to stop hostilities to allow peace talks, and a federal court judge ruled that these emojis, a rocket, a stock going higher, and a money bag, objectively mean one thing: a financial return on investment. Users of these emojis are hereby warned of the legal consequence of their use. Whoa, guys, be careful dropping rockets. Honestly, I don't even know if I can put a rocket in my thumbnail anymore. Finally, touching on the charts before we move on to the last piece of the video, the SPY is sitting at $395.56, down 1.27% currently on the day. It's literally trying to hang on to this level as hard as possible, sitting at $395. If we break below this, I'm watching $387.85 for the next level for the SPY to hit, which will essentially bring us back down to this trend line and base off of this as well coming into the end of next week. If we break lower faster, then I'm watching that 390 level and also 393 to see if the SPY can actually get a bounce. We do want to see a bounce very soon so that we can possibly continue a bull market. If the SPY decides it wants to keep leading, it's not going to look well going forward. Plus, a bunch of institutions are betting that the market is going to drop heavily with puts. Now, guys, keep in mind, AMC has been on the threshold list for more than 16 days, and if you haven't been watching the previous videos, make sure to watch those because I update on everything that there is to update you on, why we are not pushing yet, so on and so forth. Ape is currently sitting at $2.27, broke out of this parallel channel to the downside. It did not get this gap fill yet, down to about $1.92. I think that is potential if the SPY does start to bleed, and if AMC and GameStop and other meme stocks bleed with it. Ape is going to have that gap fill right around 192. As of right now, it is holding itself on this last little leg that it has here right around this trend line, and in my opinion, Ape has to break back into this parallel channel right here once everything goes green. Plus, there is that little arbitrage gap play from AMC and Ape as well, so keep that in mind that they are not sure if they want to bleed Ape into the floor because it's going to be harder to get it to rally afterwards. They don't want this separation from AMC and Ape to go too far come towards the meeting. We only have about 2.5 weeks until that meeting actually comes. AMC plays through these white cycles. We talked about it the same exact way it enters a cycle every single time. It has a major rip. Now, these two times it got halted, and in my opinion, they were supposed to stop right around 56%, right here, and FOMO was just too strong, algos was just too strong, and the volume, there was just too much volume, and AMC got to push higher. They halted it, they dropped it back down. The same thing happened with AMC right now. We ran 57% every single time this cycle starts, and you can trail this back to legitimately before retail even jumped in the stock. Back here in 2020, AMC was doing the exact same things. Now, I have these 3 cycles drawn out in one put together cycle. Why did I do that? If you guys chart this out, you literally cannot make this up. AMC is playing through these cycles at a legitimate 3-cycle scale. Now, if I bring this up and make it bigger, you will see that AMC plays out the exact way. It had a large drop right here. It had 2 major peaks, and finally, we're trading exactly right here where you see it trading right now. AMC is just in the beginning phase, something that you saw back here back in 2021, and that is where I believe AMC is sitting right now. However, we do have a chance to break the algos like we saw back in January and back in June, but right now is our chance. So one of these catalysts, whether it be earnings or whether it be the vote, has to really kick things off. As for GameStop, still holding itself, exactly what I wanted to see. It is not doing much. It's down 2.18% today, holding itself on this trend line. A break under 19 is going to invalidate things, and until that time period, there's not much to say for GameStop, especially if volume does not kick in. Guys, I didn't notice a lot of you guys were popping in the members channel. I've been putting all of my time into the main videos, Discord, Twitter, etc., etc. But I recently, yesterday, just uploaded to the members only 2 stocks that I could potentially be jumping in, and why. It's kind of just behind the scenes of me doing some charting, looking into other plays, and I will be adding more content in there as well. So thank you guys for becoming members. I literally didn't even see it. Also, thank you for so many people popping in Discord and getting gains in there. The Discord has been popping off. That link will be in the description or in the comments if you guys want to pop in. Plus, if you want up to 17 free stocks, all you have to do is sign up for another broker, just like you would Webull or Robinhood, except this one's better than both because it gives you free level 2 order book data that you pay for on other platforms. Trading around the clock, so you can trade after hours. If you don't have a broker that can trade after hours and pre-market, make sure to download this. All you have to do is use my link, sign up, open an account, and make a deposit. It can literally be 1 penny, so join us over there on Moomoo.